So here in Ireland, coming up, we have European and local elections. The local elections are for county councillors, and the European elections are for members of the European Parliament. These elections are a week away at the time of recording. I have received, through the letterbox, a number of leaflets from some of the MEPs running in my area, which covers approximately half the geographical landmass of the Republic of Ireland. And I thought that I might go through a few of them, just to see which ones are good and which are bad. Not all of the candidates have sent leaflets yet, but I have a selection. I'll move on to the next one. So the next one is this guy, Rory Hearn, from the Social Democrats. He looks a bit like a school principal or a college lecturer, I suppose. And we'll see what he has to say on side B. A bit shorter and more succinct. That's him with his party leader. Standing for Europe in Midlands North West because I want all children to have a home and sustainable future. Sounds good. If he's elected, he's going to make the European Child Guarantee work for children in Ireland, ending child poverty. Sounds good. Use EU institutions and EU funding to help solve the housing crisis. I don't think that's going to work. Again, it's going to the EU to become more dependent on them. If they provide the funding, what will they want in return? And as for the institutions, the same institutions that brought us the immigration crisis. I doubt it. Support EU trade sanctions against Israel. Fair enough. Robust workers' rights. Fair enough. Climate action. That's the pod again. And the 15-minute city. So that's no good. And getting our farmers to stop producing food. And then standing up for a welcome and inclusive Ireland and EU. So more immigration. So he really disqualifies himself, I suppose. There won't be in Ireland if the immigration continues. And his workers' rights and his housing crisis are issues to do with supply and demand. And by welcoming and including lots of migrants, he's not putting any cap on the demand for housing or the supply of labour. So that's no good. Next up, Niall Blaney, Fianna Fáil. Yes, it's nice and green. Then we go to the back. We have a message from Micheál Martin, TD. So it's not from Niall Blaney himself. We need a much stronger voice in the European Parliament. We need MEPs who will get things done for the people they represent and not waste their important decisions on a negative agenda which achieves nothing. Well, I can guess what this negative agenda is. Immigration. People don't want it. Well, that's a negative agenda. It achieves nothing. Most people tend not to want things, but they're going to ignore that. Niall Blaney is a leader on issues affecting border communities, and one of the most effective advocates for investing in vital projects such as the A4 upgrades. The A4 is a road. So again, this is about going to Europe, getting European money for things. Now obviously it's important to have money for infrastructure and so on, but we're becoming dependent on the EU for money. If they give us money, what are they going to want in return? So we should be trying to break away, not become even more dependent. And they're not going to do anything about immigration, so that's no good. Next up we have Senator Pauline O'Reilly, Green Party, member of the European Greens. Already getting a stinking feeling about this one. On the back, fairly well laid out, 1, 2, 3 across the top, and then a sort of a blurb in the middle. She is a bit of a severe looking woman, a bit of a maybe stern teacher or matron who's very strict. Anyway, thriving communities. Our children deserve to grow up in healthy, vibrant neighbourhoods that will set them on a positive path for life. I will use my role in Europe to deliver safe streets, clean parks, green energy, modern sports facilities and bustling cultural venues. That sounds nice. Quality transport. Better, cheaper, cleaner commuter transport is essential, including enhanced rail and bus services, more supports for electric vehicle drivers, better facilities for pedestrians and cyclists. So the war on the private motor car and the internal combustion engine. That's no good. I was recently a customer of some of our national transport, and I wasn't very impressed. I wouldn't want to have to depend on that in an emergency. On women's healthcare, having achieved free contraception, I will continue to fight for better access to women's healthcare, from maternal care and breastfeeding supports to menopause and cancer services. Well, that sounds good, but again, free contraception, reducing the birth rate. And I'm quite suspicious that this healthcare is a euphemism in the same way it is in America, means abortion. So we're talking really about abortion, the 15-minute city pod, and maybe we'll have the thriving communities, maybe not. So no mention of immigration. I'm not sure how our thriving communities and quality transport will survive when we replace the population.